cat, and Clark would come in and put a mouse at my foot because they want you to eat the mouse so you stay healthy.
Yeah.
They think they're giving you caviar, you know.
I know.
And
it's their gift to you.
It makes us scream. I scream. I go, "Oh, Jesus, Clark, what the hell are you doing?" You know. And then he looks at me like, "Don't you know that I'm giving you a mouse, for Christ's sake?" And I go, "Know what you're doing. I don't want it."
I know that.
You know, they are so funny, and they expect us. When he came in with the bird in the apartment, I said, "Snow, you've got to get out of here. This bird, go on, out." So he ate it right outside the door so I could see through the grass how he was eating it.
Oh, my gosh.
I know, darling. And they're looking at you like, "Look, aren't I great? Look, I'm a real cat." I go, "Okay." You know, he's 18 years old. For an 18-year-old cat to get a bird, it's
that's
pretty
good.
phenomenal.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, we got to give him credit on that.
Yes, we do.
I have a feeling the nest fell out of a tree. I can't imagine.
No.
He found 2 birds in 2 days and killed them both and ate them.
Oh, my gosh.
He gets so much food as it is. It breaks me up. And then he ate one bird, the smaller bird, and he came in and asked for more food. Oh. I said, "Darling, you little pig, you pig, you just ate a bird."
That was the appetizer.
They break me up.
Yeah, and we would never live our lives without them. I've been an
animal of all my
person.
children, and I go on Hulu and see it. I'm very excited for them. I heard from Francesca James, who's now acting on it. She used to produce it and direct on it, and she won Emmy years ago as another character on All My Children. And she said, "Jennifer, it looks just as good as it did on television. It looks wonderful." So I talked with the producer.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
I talked with the producer. All the information I can give you on All My Children is I just got an email from her. I emailed her and I said, "I wish you and Agnes nothing but success. I hope it runs for years and send lots of love and everything." And I told her about Grey's Anatomy again, which I'd done before, and then I didn't know I had a 3rd episode. And then I told her about the thing in Milan, and she emailed me back and she said, "Let me know when you return because Colby could really use her butt kicked by her Aunt Marian, by her grandmother Marian." So hopefully it looks like they may be thinking of me, which is really nice because there's nothing like going home after 30 years of working with the same people and seeing everybody.
That is so true. That is so true. It's just like us watching it. And as I was discussing with David earlier, that when we watched it last night for the first time, it was almost like watching it just from yesterday. You know, yesterday's episode just ended, not 2 years later. But then again, there was the new feel to it and the new characters and stuff like that. But we love our old characters. We want our core characters, and we'd love nothing more than to see you back on there.
Well, I'm going to give you my Twitter thing. If anybody wants to reach me, it's jennifer-bassey 1, the number 1, because someone stole my name.
Oh, no.
On Twitter. They do that all the time, I was told by my girlfriend who is on Twitter all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm on Facebook, but I never go on because, you know, I figure if I haven't seen you since I was 5, I don't want to see you. You know, I just don't. I mean, what are we going to say to each other?
Right.
You know, I mean, because I'm old, darling. I am OLD, old.
Oh. Well, I don't know how old you are, but I want to tell you that you are so beautiful that I would not even tend to guess your age.
I love you. Well, I've had 2 very good facelifts, darling.
Well,
2 very good. And
I did a good job.
You got to reach
for tell.
No, I know. That's why I've had very good facelifts. I mean, when you look at some people who shall remain nameless, some famous people who look like somebody else totally, you don't even recognize them.
That's so true.
You know, that's so-and-so. I go, "No, it's not." They go, "Yeah, it is." I look at it, "Well, what happened to her? What did they do to her?"
You're right.
Her mouth is as big as it used to be, and her cheekbones are up in her forehead practically. And I go, "Well, but what the?" So you throw a rock and you're going to hit a bad surgeon.
Right. That's true. Mm-hmm. You got to do a lot of investigating.
You have to see someone. I saw 2 people over the last 20-some years And I knew who they'd gone to, and that's why I went to. And because they looked like themselves, only a little tailored. That's it. They didn't look like anybody else who they have always been. That, to me, is good surgery. But a lot of these, quote, socialite doctors who are the doctors, they make everybody look the same.
This is true.
There are two stars now that look the same. I get them mixed up, and they never looked like each other before.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it's pretty scary. Pretty scary, darling.
There's a reality show, too, where they all look the same, and I bet they all went to one of their husbands, who is a plastic surgeon. They probably all went to him, so that's why. So I understand what you mean.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Not funny.
No.
No, definitely.
But you have another upcoming project called The Concerto?
Well, no, I did that movie. I did a movie called The Concerto in December with Jackson Rathbone, who's one of the stars of Twilight. He's been in all the Twilight movies. He plays Jasper something or other. I can't remember the last name. And he plays a ghost, and I play his fiancée, only it's 40 years later. And circumstances bring us together after 40 years. I'm now married to someone else. And the tears are pouring, and the love, and we have a 7-minute love scene, really. Only it's different because he's still 30 and I'm now 70, so it's different. Very good film. And then I have another film that I'm waiting to hear on called Black Hawks by the same director, which is going to start up sometime, I don't know, soon, I think.
Well, I can't wait to see these. These all sound great.
This movie, The Concerto, is a wonderful movie, and the director is fabulous. And Mark Teschner, who's the casting director at General Hospital, cast it. And last time I saw him, he said, I saw some footage, and he's doing a beautiful job editing it. So maybe I won't have as many lines on my face as I think.
Yeah, no. Oh. Do you think it'll be out next year sometime?
I think God made two mistakes, aging and death.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Those are big mistakes.
Yeah.
It's like the line in chorus. I met Jimmy Kirkwood years ago, and he wrote the book of A Chorus Line, and he wrote the most famous comedy line of all time, and it's my favorite line of all time. And when he showed it to the director said, that's not funny, Jimmy. He wrote it for Kelly Bishop, an actress called Kelly Bishop, and Jimmy said, well, I think it's funny. And Marvin Hamlish said, I don't think it's funny, Jimmy. He said, well, I think it's funny. Look, can't we just let her say it in the previews? I mean, can we just let her say it? Okay. So previews came up, and he gave Kelly the line, and the line is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Young. That's it. It brought the house down in context with the character that she'd been playing the whole time. Brought the house down, an ovation. When I started out in this business in the 60s, and I did 7 Broadway shows back-to-back till the 70s, we had old people, middle-aged people, young people. We had everybody, and we had mentors. We had people who said, oh, honey, don't do that. We had people to help out. Now your career out here is over at 30. You may as well jump off a tall building at 30.
No.
Because your career's over.
Yeah. Well, I do hope that changes relatively soon. I think that it has changed somewhat, but not as much as we need it to.
Well, what I'm finding stunningly surprising is we have more senior citizens in this country than we've ever had before. There are more senior citizens than any other group, and they're not targeting seniors. So they think we don't buy anything. They're wrong. We do buy things.
Yes. We are the ones that are buying things for not only ourselves, but also our children, our grandchildren, and so on and so forth.
Children are struggling because the economy has been terrible. Kids get out of college and move back home.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no place for
so it's different. It's a different ball game. But I'm stunned that the networks are not having more shows targeting senior citizens.
Right.
I think I'm working on a couple of shows that I'm going to pitch to somebody about seniors that I think will be very funny because I think it's needed, and I think there's an audience for it.
Sure. Everybody loves watching, everything that Betty White does, and there's a lot of Betty Whites in this world.
Oh, yeah. Darling. There sure are.
Yep. So I would say that would go over well. So whatever you're pitching, go for it. I'll watch it.
All right, I'll let you know. But anyway, we're off to Italy, and the girl that plays my daughter, okay, she looks just like Angelina Jolie. So she said, "Now you've got to get a great dress to wear on the red carpet." I said, "Darling, if I was walking naked, no one would notice me anyway. Walking with you."
Oh.
So it doesn't matter what the hell I wear. I mean, she has a figure, darling, stops traffic. Long brunette hair, gorgeous, about 5'8", and built like heads turn wherever she goes. So I said, they're not going to look at me, Melanie. They're all going to be looking at you, and that's fine.
That's sweet. But you know what? People will still look at you because, like I said, you're beautiful, and there's a lot of older men out there, even some younger men that like older women, and you'll get looked at. Trust me. Well,
you know what? I'm not worried. I mean, I mean it that she's so beautiful. I mean, I'm so thrilled that I've kind of adopted her. I'm like her mom. And we kind of have the same bone structures. So people always say, "Are you her mother?" And I say, yes. I'm not. No. I played her mother in the movie, but we act like mother and daughter.
Right. That's a great friendship to have. It probably lasts quite a long time.
I think the rest of our lives, yes.
Yeah.
She definitely will outlive me, but yeah, absolutely.
Well, out of all the parts that you've played, what one was the most fun to play?
I think the most fun was doing Dunstan Checks In because I had a major scene with an orangutan, and I was on a massage table, and we had to shoot all the segments the orangutan had been working on for 2 years. He was only 5 or 6 years old. Now he's got to be 30 years old and full grown, like they grow to our height. And I have never laughed so hard in my entire life or enjoyed anything more. This orangutan was the best actor I've ever worked with, number one. Number two, he understood everything. There was no sign language. If somebody would say, "Sammy," because his name in the film was Dunstan, but in real life it was Sammy. They'd say, "Sammy," he'd look over at them. They'd say, "Move to your right an inch," and he'd do it. He'd say, "Come back half an inch," and he'd do it. And when I first met him, he came in diapers because he's 5 years old.
Right.
And as he was leaving, his back was to me. I said, "I didn't get to say goodnight to Sammy." He turned around, looked into my eyes, and went and kissed me twice.
Aww.
Oh, that's cute.
And he knew that I'd said that.
Aww.
He understood everything we said to him.
That's so sweet.
I would say that's the most fun I've ever had. But the best job I've ever had was on my children because it was on and off for 31 years. I mean, that was the best job I ever had. And the interesting part about playing a role for 30-some years is it's so comfortable that if you're off for 8 years and they bring you back, you know exactly who you are, and you've had a history of 20-some years before that, whatever, with the characters you're working with.
Right.
So it's like going home.
Right. And I'm sure you were one big family there, too, behind the scenes.
Very, very, very terrific group of people. Absolutely a terrific group of people. Couldn't meet a better group or more fun. So, yeah, all my children, it's funny. If anybody ever got on the show and they were not nice or causing trouble, they kind of were written off very quickly. There was kind of like a thing. Most people would say, "Well, yours is the nicest show we've worked on because when we work on some of the others, nobody talks to us. They treat us like we're not there when we have smaller parts, and you guys don't do that. You're all so nice to us." I said, "Well, why should we be anything but nice?"
Yeah. There's no reason to be mean.
Yeah, our show, well, not that they're mean. They just, because you're not a regular, they're above you, that attitude,
Right.
The same on Grey's Anatomy. Nobody looks down on anybody who was not a contract person. They, welcomed me. And Patrick Dempsey, first of all, I think he's very sexy. And second of all, when I met him, I heard